to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer and FXTV. I am the Wrestle Gamer, Double Deep on the Road, and it's time for the Monday Night Raw review for the week of January 20th, 2014. Joining me on the panel this week for the Raw review, first off, the host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, which can be heard exclusively on YouTube.com/HWR show. He is the Illuminous One, the Shining Star, Rick Starr. Rick, how you shining?
I'm shining good as always. Thanks for having me, Billy.
The Studley Man, Ashley, is with us this week. Ashley, how you doing?
Meditating.
And ladies and gentlemen, from YouTube.com/LanceMossTV, our resident music mogul, he is the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Well, let's look at the opening segment of Monday Night Raw. And the authority in the ring already, that apparently they're trying to, they're going to hype up the return of Batista and bring him out in the opening segment, which I thought was good to start off Monday Night Raw on a high note like that. But then Randy Orton comes out, starts complaining, and then they kind of read him the riot act about what he did last week, and they showed him, attacking John Cena's dad and whatnot. And then but Triple H gets in his face and says, you know what, you need to prove and make this right. He's going to put him in another match with Kofi Kingston for him to make it right with that. And then he's got to make it right with John Cena. And then out comes Batista to an overwhelmingly positive reaction from the fans, and pretty much tells Randy Orton, says, I am here to win the Royal Rumble. I'm here to main event WrestleMania, and I am here to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. That was it. Cut, dry, done. Ashley, your thoughts on the return of Batista?
I'm not overly hyped that he's back, but I guess it makes sense to have quite a few of the big names coming back for WrestleMania 30. I mean, obviously Warrior's going to be there because of the Hall of Fame. You've got all the rumors that Hogan's done a deal, and practically everybody that probably could be involved will be at 30 because of the anniversary significance of it. So, and I think Batista, I think he probably has got one last run in him, because the MMA stuff, it was sort of, he only had one match due to other people like chickening out and stuff like that apparently, but he's still in a good physique, and if Rock doesn't want to promote his movies this year, Batista's got plenty of opportunity for Guardians of the Galaxy.
And it definitely does. The opening matchup for this week on Monday Night Raw, it featured Biggie Langston and the tag team champions, Goldust and Cody Rhodes, taking on the Shield. I want to say overall this was an okay six-man tag, finishing off with Seth Rollins doing what appeared to be a jumping stomp on the back of Biggie Langston's head, driving him down. I gotta say, a unique finish, if I ever saw one myself, but the winners are the Shield, so that's pretty much it. But let's go to this segment here, Rick, and talk about Daniel Bryan, pretty much just cutting the promo we thought he was gonna cut, and then we find out that both Luke Harper and Eric Rowan are in the Royal Rumble, and Daniel Bryan is challenging Bray Wyatt to a match. Do you think it was kind of expected after what happened last week on Monday Night Raw?
I'll be honest with you, I was a little bit shocked because the way it was looking, I thought Daniel Bryan was going to be out of the Rumble because of his injury, and then we saw reports just before Raw that he was cleared, so that was pretty much a shocker for me. And it was pretty much, it was on the fence of what was going to be happening, and the way that worked out, it was really glad that it was great. And but now that he's got the cleared, you knew that's the way it was heading. So, thumbs up on that one.
Oh, definitely. I gotta agree with you on that one. Fandango took on Xavier Woods, and for the first time in the WWE, that I can recall with Fandango being there. Fandango actually, I want to say, dominated about 80% of the match. This was like a quick 3-minute match at best, with Fandango hitting his guillotine leg drop off the top rope to get the win. The only thing I cared about is the fact that Summer Rae was there. That's all I can say. Now, backstage, and this is another thing we addressed from the Raw preview that we did yesterday before Monday Night Raw, is, the situation involving CM Punk and Kane. Kane apparently being ordered by Stephanie McMahon to apologize for his actions on Friday Night SmackDown when Kane chokeslammed him, and Punk responds by attacking Kane, and then Brad Maddox comes out and actually takes charge and says that Punk was going to face one of the members of the New Age Outlaws. It turned out to be Bad Ass Billy Gunn with Road Dogg Jesse James on commentary. One thing I gotta say, Lance, Bad Ass Billy Gunn has, not aged at all. I mean, the guy is in phenomenal shape, and it's very surprising to me, he still has a really great dropkick, as we saw in the match.
Yeah, I mean, he stays in shape. He keeps his game finally home, which, hey, if you're going to look like Billy Gunn does, it's more impressive if you keep your game up as well. So, hey,
yeah, that's definitely
good one,
right.
Badass Billy Gunn.
Definitely. Punk gets the win with the GTS, and Kane kind of rewards him, saying, you know what, you're going to have a chance to prove that you're the best in the world in the Royal Rumble match when I make you the number 1 entrant. So, all eyes on CM Punk come the Royal Rumble, see what if he does it. We have the rubber match next between Rey Mysterio and Alberto Del Rio, and it was pretty much cut and dry again with these two. Rey Mysterio, a shell of his former self, in my opinion. He's just not the wrestler he used to be. But then again, after about 5,384 knee injuries, of course you wouldn't be either. The finish of the match is Del Rio with the cross arm breaker, but interesting enough, we've heard Del Rio over the past couple of weeks talk smack to Batista, and Batista kind of comes out, and Del Rio tries to attack him, he runs right into the Batista spinebuster, and then a standing version of the Batista bomb, and as soon as he did that, the crowd went absolutely apeshit for that. So, they ate that up. It wasn't the normal sit-out powerbomb version that we're used to seeing from Batista, but it was still classic Batista right there. And now this was kind of interesting, Ashley. I want to get your take on this about Big Show calling out Brock Lesnar, and in an attempt to try to attack the Big Show, Lesnar just gets thrown around like a rag doll. I mean, Big Show just literally heaves him over the top rope with ease, and then when he saw Lesnar throwing a temper tantrum with the chair, and Big Show caught the chair and started mocking him with the chair and whatnot. Well, what are your thoughts on that segment right there?
My thoughts are Lesnar's winning on Sunday. It's the usual thing it's the usual angle that they do of, make the one guy look like he's, on top, and then, switcheroonie! And, it's Lesnar. I love the bit like at the end when he actually started speaking. Okay, well, with a mic, thank God, but it's like, Big Show, this Sunday, you, I don't think anybody can translate what those last 2 words he said.
Oh, God.
Something like that. I don't know. Perhaps he's going to perhaps he's going to be a guest star in Muppets Most Wanted. I don't know.
Oh, jeez. But, anyway, they showed on the WWE app AJ Lee having a party celebrating her reign as the longest reigning Divas champion in WWE history. And unfortunately, bad news. Barrett had some bad news for AJ, which she didn't like too much. Josh Matthews attempting to interview her about that ends up accidentally caking Tamina for her efforts. And I say that's a waste of a perfectly good cake.
Barrett only did that because he got bad news that his visa wasn't passed.
Anyway,
is that bad news or good news for him?
Why don't we call it
Bad
moderate news?
Good news for us.
Why don't we call it moderate news?
I think it is bad news because then everybody will say he goes to TNA, and then we're like, no.
They'll still have the same visa issues.
Anyway, following up into the tag match, AJ Lee and Tamina taking on the Funkadactyls. It kind of resulted with Naomi catching AJ with a small package pin, and after that, AJ just screaming her lungs out right in the middle of the ring. Even when they put the camera on the commentators, you could still hear AJ Lee screaming at the top of her lungs. We had the Usos taking on Eric Rowan and Luke Harper, and one thing, it's almost, would you call it almost predictable, Rick, that Daniel Bryan was going to make an appearance, of which he did during this match?
It was expected. I wouldn't say predictable. I kind of figured maybe early in the night, what was done was done. You kind of had that feeling, but if he didn't show up, it would have been done. And but with the WWE, you're not surprised.
Well, you got to do something for the build for Bray Wyatt and Daniel Bryan. We just now finding out that this week on the Go Home show that they're going to have a one-on-one match. Despite the history we've seen with Wyatt and Bryan, they had to do a little bit of something
so like I
more.
said, it could have gone either way. Whether they left it up in the air and kind of left that little bit of suspense, or, like you said, he had to run in. You know what I mean? I kind of suspected it, but if it didn't happen, I wouldn't have been shocked. It could have really gone either way. Whether it was during the match or after the match or whatever.
Go ahead,
I wanted Eric Rowan versus Eva Marie in a contest to decide who's the worst wrestler.
Oh, man, that might be
Eva
the only
Marie
thing.
will win by a landslide.
Pretty much. But the Usos got the win on this one. Harper being distracted by the Daniel Bryan attack on Bray Wyatt, got schoolboyed by one of the Usos, and finally Randy Orton taking on Kofi Kingston. The matchup itself wasn't really too significant, but now we have the arrival of John Cena. John Cena coming in, attacking Randy Orton. Randy Orton tried to make his escape, but Kofi Kingston kind of cut him off, and Cena kind of went through the crowd to attack Orton. Orton kind of hopped in a car to make his getaway. So, I don't know about that final build to Monday Night Raw for Royal Rumble for Randy Orton and John Cena, but it definitely made it interesting. And let's just hope Randy Orton had an extra pair of pants with them in that car, because I heard it was quite cold up there. And if you're not wearing a t-shirt and not wearing any pants, then definitely you will freeze your balls off. Time for overall scores and picks for
You're
best.
missing the big thing though about that moment, Billy.
What was that?
John Cena getting to be with like the fans in the cheap seats. I mean, those people probably paid like $15, $20 for those tickets, and they get to be within 4 foot of or interact with Cena. You saw that one bit where he did the photo, and then right at the end, coming back over the barrier to go to the ring, personally, like high-fiving and greeting the disabled people down on the aisle, I think was a great move. You may not like him, but after what he did there in that little bit coming back from outside the arena, you got to respect him even more now.
All right, everyone, it's now time to find out everyone's picks for best and worst match or segment for Monday Night Raw and our overall scores. Now, for me, with this being the go-home show for the Royal Rumble, this Monday Night Raw kind of helped some of the builds that were needed, especially to establish the one with Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt even further. I know one thing we said on the preview is we had to see something of a follow-up for Randy Orton attacking John Cena's dad, and indeed we kind of saw that John Cena attacking Randy Orton all the way through the audience to the outside of the arena. So I gotta say, I was really, really, I thought it was a good go-home show. I'm gonna go as far as 3.75 out of 5 for my overall score. My pick for best match of the night, I gotta go to the 6-man tag with the Shield. You know what? I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna go to CM Punk and Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn, for a guy his age to be in that good a shape and put on that good of a match with someone like CM Punk is just, to me, unbelievable. The guy he can still get up there, he can still sell the way he used to, and he still has one hell of a drop kick that could rival Hardcore Holly when it comes to doing good drop kicks, and maybe even Randy Orton. Maybe Billy Gunn has a better drop kick than Randy Orton. Who knows? It's all a matter of perspective when it comes to that one. But to me, CM Punk and Billy Gunn, really took the show for me. And a lot of fans say, "Oh, why aren't you saying that Batista's return was a segment of the night?" Batista returning was good. Don't get me wrong, it was good, but overall quality, in my personal opinion, I got to go to CM Punk and Billy Gunn. And worst match of the night, it's going to be tied with the worst segment of the night, and the worst segment of the night didn't even happen on Monday Night Raw. It happened on the WWE app. The waste of a perfectly good cake by AJ Lee to Tamina. Come on, there are hungry people out there that could, That one point, the kick was not a lie. It was there. The kick was actually there, but it wasn't a lie. And, of course, for me, worst...
Well, Ashley was so offended he hung up.
Worst match... I gotta go with... First I was going to say AJ Lee, Tamina, and the Funkadactyls, but then again, you also got to factor in Fandango and Xavier Woods, But you know what? I'm going to leave the worst segment. I'm going to leave it as the worst segment of the week. There is no worst match. I'm going to go with the caking of Tamina on the WWE app. To me, that's going to be the overall worst thing of the week for me. And now that we have the Studley Man Ashley back, let's go to him and get his overall score and his picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw.
I think overall, probably a 3.5 out of 5. It was a stronger go-home show than we've had in previous shows, but it feels like a case for this could have been done in more or less time, than 3 hours. It was kind of expected that Cena would show up last minute, considering he never showed up and never showed up. They bookmark him as far as they can from Batista, probably to reflect the last time that he was there 4 years ago, practically. But he had a good debut from him. I think match of the night, it's hard to say. To be honest, I'd give it to, I'd say CM Punk Billy Gunn, but I'd put as a close second Del Rio Mysterio, because it was a good match there. For worst, it has to be Xavier Woods versus Fandango. Some people have sex for longer than that match. That's the telling thing.
Okay. And someone who's probably an expert on that, Rick Starr, is up next with... Well, you know what? Let's go to Lance. Let's go to Lance Moss and get his overall scores and his picks for let's go to Lance next. Lance, what are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw and your overall score? As you stifle your phone ring. The iPhone!
Hello to shut up phones. 3.5, best match, probably the Punk, Billy Gunn. Best segment, Brock Lesnar getting thrown around like a little rag doll by the Big Show. Worst, Fandango versus
Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods. Yeah.
He leaves that kind of an impression on you.
Really wouldn't want. Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, finally we go to Rick Starr. Rick, what is your overall score and your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw?
Well, dude, there wasn't really, I have to give it an overall score. I'll give it a 3.75 out of 5. I could have given it a 4, but there really wasn't a lot of great matches. There was a lot of great segments for this go-home show for what it was, especially for 3 hours. They really should have had a lot of more matches, but there was just not a lot of great matches. There were just a lot of great segments. And I think that's what we're seeing more with Raw. We're seeing more and more segments than we are matches, and that's becoming more of a problem. I don't know what the issue is. I like the opening match. I thought that was a really great match. Personally, if I have to say one of the best segments, I definitely have to say I have to go along with Lance and say the Big Show Brock Lesnar segment. The way Big Show just tossed Lesnar around, that was one of the highlights of the night for me. I also got to make a personal mention.
Big Show's impression of Heyman.
Yeah, that was also great. You also got to make an honorable mention to Batista coming back for me, because I love seeing Batista coming back. So there's a lot of great things in that night. Worst night of the night, worst match of the night, yeah, it was that Fandango match. It was just over before it even started. I don't even know why they even bothered having it. It's like they might as well just had an extra commercial,
on the WWE app.
Yeah, exactly. So.
You know what the obvious best segment of a night was, though?
What?
What's that?
Eva Marie wasn't on it.
Yes! 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 Yes!
Did anybody? Oh, by the way, actually, did anybody actually catch Emma in the crowd?
Yeah,
JBL did this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hashtag imitating.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, what we want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. What are your overall scores, and what are your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw? We want to hear from you guys out there. You should put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Rick, where can fans check you out on HWR?
Of course, they can always find me on my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. And anytime you want to listen to any of our shows or check out any of our videos, head on over to youtube.com/HWR Show.
Lance, what can fans expect to see when they come visit your channel over on youtube.com/LanceMossTV?
Album reviews, NASCAR reviews, me not getting interrupted by the phone, Q&As, redneck cooking videos, and whatever else pops to my head.
Fans, don't forget to like the Facebook page, facebook.com/WGS-TV, and don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZFXTV Network. So for the Studly Man Ashley, the Illuminous One, the Shining Star Rick Starr, and the incomparable Lance Moss TV, I'm the WrestleGamer, Double B Billy Boudreaux, saying thank you very much for watching.
By the way, the other person on that phone, WWE calling for Lance, he's going to be entrant number 37 in the Royal Rumble.
And after that, he's going to be heading over to Billy's house looking for a chair shot.
No to give a chair shot.